On today's show, it's been 5 games since the PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford trades. What have we learned? How can we unlock PJ Washington's offense? Is it Tim Hardaway versus Jaden Hardy? All that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks.
Mavericks, NBA champions. Bang! It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Loyalty never fades away.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show. Make it Locked On Mavs your first listen today, where the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, leave a 5-star review, like the video. If you comment, like the video too. I look controversial if you don't do both. And then leave a comment below. Let me know in the comment section. Make your prediction. Who is the Mavs' third leading scorer for the rest of the season? Starting right now till the end of the season. Who's the third leading scorer? Who should it be? Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Answering some of your questions. You guys put some questions down on YouTube. You responded in the comment section. Really appreciate that. I get a lot of questions from subtext as well. If you want to subscribe to the subtext, click the link in the description. Text the number as well, and I send you Mav stuff straight to your phone. So I got a bunch of questions today, so we'll get to a bunch of those. And I got questions, obviously, about Tim Hardaway Jr. There's a Tim Hardaway Jr., Jaden Hardy rift going on, I guess, right now in the fan base. And so we'll talk about that. It's the scoring problem for the Mavericks. So we'll talk about that. We'll answer some other questions at the end too. Maybe we'll get to what's the confidence level you would have in each play-in game if the Mavs had to play a play-in game right now. Talk about Daniel Gafford a little bit, but I want to start here. 5 games post the trade, and you're looking at what the team is right now, and you were feeling pretty good. Won the first 4 games after the trade, 7-game win streak. All right, here we go. Mavs may never lose again. Then all of a sudden, the Mavs lose a game. The sky is falling. Here we go. Learned some things in that one. But in the 5 games since the trade, this is how the minutes have shaken out. I find this kind of interesting because it informs us, all right, what is Kid thinking? Where, who's he got in the rotation? What's kind of a playoff level rotation for Kid? Kyrie, 35 minutes a game. Luka, 34 minutes. PJ Washington, just about 30 minutes. Josh Green, 26 minutes. Tim Hardaway Jr., 25 minutes. Maxey, just about 25 minutes as well, but lower than Tim's. Gafford, 20 minutes exactly. Derrick Jones Jr., 17 and a half minutes. He's the big loser in a lot of this, minutes-wise. Lively, just under 16 minutes. Now, he's only played 3 out of the 5 games. Coming back from that injury, they didn't play him as much, all that. And then Hardy, 10 and a half minutes right there. Some garbage time. Interesting the way that it rolls out. So one of the first questions I want to get to is, why did we think PJ Washington was the answer or even an answer? This is directly from YouTube. It's such a YouTube question that someone would ask. Why did we ever think? Well, it's been 5 games, so let's slow down there first. The answer is depending on what did you think the question was? If the question for PJ Washington, the question he was supposed to answer was, did the Mavericks get their third scorer? Did the Mavericks get the third heat on offense? Did they get the guy that can help you get a bucket when you need one? The answer was always going to be no, right? But if the question was, where can the Mavericks get a third guy that is a good perimeter defender that can be a Swiss Army knife on offense at times and fill in gaps here and there and just be much better on the perimeter guarding some bigger guys, some smaller guys, definitely all the wings and all that. If that was what you wanted the answer to be, I think you got the answer. The answer is yes. Can he be that guy? Yes, he can be. He can absolutely be that guy. And so the thing that with PJ Washington, we've seen so far in 5 games, his defense has been pretty solid. His defense has been good. It's been better than what Grant Williams pretty much ever showed. It's been better than what the Mavericks had, 2 years ago or a year ago. It's better than, by the way, a year ago, by the way, Jason Kidd said this.
I'm not playing. I'm watching, just like you guys.
Think about where we were a year ago, exactly 1 year ago today.
I'm not playing. I'm watching, just like you guys.
An all-time moment that I just I'll never get over. But with PJ Washington, what was the question supposed to be for him? And I think one of the things that I think some fans are frustrated with, that I'm sort of like, all right, when is this going to happen? When is his offense going to come around? Because he averaged about, he only averaged about like 12, 13 points a game for the Hornets, 15 points a game last year. But that team, they weren't in winning situations. PJ Washington against the Suns may have played like the biggest game of his career in that game so far in the NBA. And so I did a little deep dive. I was like, all right, where did PJ Washington's offense come from when he played for the Hornets? And where should we expect it? And how can we unlock his offensive game? So I think the way that you unlock PJ Washington's game for the Mavericks is pick and roll in the small ball lineups, him as the screener. The Mavs have been running Maxey as the screener. They've been running Luka and Kyrie screening for each other, which is great. Now, don't stop doing that. They've, when they have Lively or Gafford in there, they've been running those guys pick and roll, obviously. But to get PJ going, I think you got to run him. I would rather run PJ Washington in these pick and rolls than run Maxey in them. Luka's got more, cohesion with Maxey and all that kind of stuff. They've got that chemistry. I think you got to start getting it with PJ Washington. Because, and this is why, PJ Washington, his offense with Charlotte this year, he got 37% of his offense on spot-up shots. That's what's happening here now. He's getting those spot-up jumpers. He's not hitting them. He's shooting 19% from three. That won't last. That will correct. He won't shoot 19% from three the rest of the season. He has not shot the ball well so far. Now, I know we said this with Grant Williams. He won't shoot this bad for the rest. And then he just kept shooting that bad. No. Now he's shooting well for the Hornets. But he's getting wide open shots. I think he'll knock down the shots eventually. He's not going to shoot 19%. So he's getting the spot-up shots. That's not going to change. The second biggest category for PJ Washington, this is all according to Synergy, was pick and roll as the roll man. In Charlotte, he would be the roll man. He was one of the only players that has run like a certain number of, pick and roll possessions as the roll man and the ball handler. He's not very particularly good as the ball handler, and so I'm not going to advocate for that. But I will advocate for him as a roller because he was average as a roll man this year with Hornets, who were terrible. But last year, he was very good. He ranked very good. They have the different categories on Synergy. Excellent, very good, good, average, below average, and poor. He ranked very good, the second highest category. He was very good in pick and roll 2 years ago as the roll man. And I think they need to start running some of that stuff for PJ Washington. I think that's how you start getting him active because PJ Washington is this type of guy. We've seen this already. He can attack a closeout. He's in the corner. He's going to get those spot up shots. But let's say a defender runs at him and is ready to get a hand in his face and ready to block his shot. He can put the ball on the deck, drive, finish around the rim. He's got little floater. He can finish with contact because he's strong. He's got long arms. He can get there. And you got to get him moving a little bit, I think. It can't all just be spot up stuff. You got to get him moving just a little bit. So run some pick and rolls with him. Let him attack the closeouts. And I think that's how you get his offense going. It's not going to be that much. You're not going to start calling plays for PJ Washington. Call him up as the screener every once in a while. Let's start running that a little bit more. Because I think if we see that a little bit more, he averaged about 5 drives a game this season. He doesn't isolate at all. He doesn't really post up that much. You don't want him handling the pick and roll. You want him attacking closeouts. You want him to run in the pick and roll. So I think that's the answer is, how do we get PJ Washington's offense going? That was another question I tried to answer. I think it's that. He's averaging 8 points a game for the Mavericks right now, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's only like, what is it? How many did he average? How many did he actually average? 13 points. So it's only 5 less points than he did for the Hornets. You're talking 2 more baskets a game. It's like, well, where did his offense go? Well, it's 2 baskets. So where can you make up 2 baskets? Run him in the pick and roll. And I think it'll open up some stuff for the Mavericks too. It'll help them be more versatile. He can be a much better playmaker than, a Maxey could or somebody like that. He can be a lot more movable and mobile than Daniel Gafford with the ball in his hands and all that. I think that could be a really good answer for the Mavericks. And so that's how you get him unlocking his offensive game, I think, is starting with that. And then the original question, why did we think PJ Washington was even an answer? The problem is your question. The problem is your question that PJ Washington was supposed to answer. Because I think so far he's answering half of the question. Can the Mavericks get another wing defender that can actually help them take a step forward? Absolutely, I think they got that in him. If the question was going to be, can we get a guy that can get his own shot and create that? That's why the Mavs tried to go after Kuzma. That's why I advocated for Kuzma, is to be that guy. PJ Washington's not going to be that guy. Different guy. I advocated for PJ Washington too. And I thought, but they're answering different questions. So that's PJ Washington. 5 games into the trade. I'm liking what I'm seeing, but I think there's more to unlock there. I think there's more to do. The Mavs can get it done, and I'm excited to see what they can do with it going forward. Coming up, has Gafford already overtaken Lively in the rotation? He's averaging more minutes, but has he already done that? We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about Tim Hardaway Jr. versus Jaden Hardy and more. Do that coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little bit further? Ever wonder what adventure was around the next corner? I do. I got to go somewhere else. I just went to Indianapolis. That was cool. It was cold, but I got to go somewhere else. I need an adventure, and maybe it's a drive. Our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capability to take your adventure to the next level. For example, they've got the 2024 Nissan Rogue. It's perfect for city drives and great escapes. If you want to take a road trip, thinking about going to Big Bend or Enchanted Rock, just great places to go, like climb big rocks in Texas. Class exclusive Google built-in is always updating your assistant to call for almost anything. So you've got that Google built in. Gone are the days of connecting your phone. You don't have to do that anymore. It's got the Google Assistant built in. The 2024 Rogue is the perfect midsize crossover for your next adventure. Check out the 2024 Nissan Rogue. Also check out the Pathfinder. Room for up to 8, 284 horsepower. When adventure calls, the Pathfinder is there to answer. Go check out the Nissan Rogue, Pathfinder, or the Armada, and go find your next big adventure at shopnissan.com.
Explain yourself. Sorry.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. We appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show. We've got a daily 24/7 stream, the Locked On Sports Dallas stream. If you go on YouTube, go on Amazon Fire TV, you can find us 24/7. You can find one of the Locked On shows. If you're interested in some of the others, you can just sample them. Just see what you like. 24/7, Locked On Sports Today, Locked On Sports Dallas on Amazon Fire or on YouTube. All right, Isaac, let's get into some more of your questions. 5 games post the trade. Let's answer one about Daniel Gafford here. Has Daniel Gafford already overtaken Lively in the rotation? He's averaging 20.2 minutes, and Lively's only averaging 15.8 minutes. Lively's going to start. I think I'm feeling pretty confident that Lively is going to keep starting because I think that he's been better in the starting lineup, and I think that he adds more size, and I think that you want to like start the game and set the tone with him. He started two of the 3 games since he's been back post the face. Now he has to wear this crazy Batman mask. I think he'll keep starting. That starting lineup has been good with him, Kyrie, Luka, Josh Green, and PJ Washington. The thing now is, has Gafford overtaken Lively? No, but I think that Gafford is like 5 years older. I think that he's better rebound. His rebounding has been a game changer. That's the one thing that Daniel Gafford has brought to the table that I've been really impressed by, where he came in, and Gafford and Lively are very similar when it comes to finishing in a pick and roll. Lively's been great finishing in a pick and roll. Gafford's been great finishing in a pick and roll. That's not something new and like nuance that he brought to the table. But what Gafford has brought is rebounding. The man can just rebound the ball. He grabs the ball. And so when the Mavericks need somebody to come in and, all right, we need some extra possessions here. We got to take the ball back. We've got to win in the trenches. You've just got to win. Gafford, so far for the Mavericks, he's played 17 minutes, 24 minutes, 23 minutes, 17 minutes, and 19 minutes. This is his rebound totals. 9, 17, 10, 5, and 5. He's gotten between 2 and 7 offensive rebounds a game so far for the Mavericks. This is a player the Mavericks have not had. He has been really good just rebounding the ball. It's a thing that the Mavericks have just needed really badly, and he's come in and he's brought it. He'll also finish. He had 19 points against the Thunder, 16 points against the Wizards. He had 10 against the Spurs, where he finished 5 shots around the rim. He's going to do that. He can block shots every once in a while. He's gotten a block every single game so far. He had 5 against the Wizards. 5 blocks against the Wizards. That must have felt good for him. But he's brought that to the table. I don't think he's overtaken Lively to me. He's not going to start. And I think Maxey's the one that's going to finish. So he's kind of like stuck in the middle here. And I think that's fine for the Mavericks to try and figure out, all right, where is Lively going to be okay to play? Where is Gafford going to be okay to play? And where should we play Maxey and deploy this 5 man that we've had forever that can, spread the floor, can defend in space. He's just a unique guy that the Mavericks have, and that they've won big games with him closing with Maxey. But the starting 5 is going to stay the same. The starting 5 in 3 games with Lively and those other 3 are, by the way, plus 32 in their minutes so far. It's pretty good. pretty good. The Gafford minutes, by the way, with that starting five are negative. I think it was like -5. It wasn't a lot, but no. So if some of you are saying, "Oh, they should start Gafford," I don't know. So far in like 5 games, it has not been that good. That's what's up with Daniel Gafford. Let's answer the question about Tim Hardaway Jr. There's a lot of Tim Hardaway Jr. questions. Some of them were like the Kelly Kapoor of The Office. First of all, how dare you? That was like, I feel like that was a lot of what the questions were. Here's one. This has a lot of Kelly Kapoor, how dare you energy. When is coaching going to hold Tim Hardaway Jr. accountable and get Hardy more rotation minutes? That is a classic YouTube question. When is he going to hold Tim Hardaway Jr. accountable? Accountable for what? Accountable for what? What are they asking Tim Hardaway Jr. to do? Hold him accountable for playing bad? His minutes have gone down. Did you realize that? Did you? Am I sitting here defending Jason Kidd to you all? I am. I have not decided to say y'all yet since living here in Dallas. I've lived here in Dallas since just about 2010. I have not adopted y'all yet, but I almost gave y'all a big y'all right there. Y'all know that? Y'all know Tim's minutes have gone down? Since the trade, he's played 25, 21, 26, 30 against the Suns, which they won that game, and 23 against the Pacers. He's played less minutes than he has overall. He was playing before that 38, 31, 36, 35, 32, 35. He was playing up in the mid-30s, and now he's in like the mid-20s. His role has gone down a lot. So he has kind of been held accountable. It's like, hey, you're not as good as guaranteed 30-minute-a-game player, and we're playing out these other guys who actually defend. And so how much more accountable do you want? You just not want to see him? You just want to banish him forever? I guess you could do that. The problem is what I talked about yesterday, is they have to have a third scorer. They have to have somebody else to get buckets. And is Hardy just going to come out there? And what he's done in a small sample size, Hardy has been pretty decent in a small sample size. He's also been bad at the beginning of the season in a sample size. But can Hardy take that and extend the sample size a little bit and still be the exact same amount of efficient, still, and be better than what Tim is right now? Okay, I heard several yeses, and I heard several I have no idea. And I think that's where it is. You don't know. We don't know if Hardy would be better. Maybe they should try it. I think Hardy should be better than what Tim is doing right now, because I think Tim is playing really bad. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Tim's not playing bad. But like, hold him accountable for what? For missing shots? You want Tim to stop taking shots? Then what does Tim do? You want Tim Hardaway Jr. to not take the shots? What else is he doing on the floor then? Okay, well then take him off the floor. They still got to replace the shooting. They still have to replace the offense. It hasn't come from PJ Washington yet. Gafford and Lively, it's dependent on matchups sometimes. If they take away the role, if you take away that like the Suns did, or like the Pacers did, then all of a sudden like your offense is Luka and Kyrie trying to take crazy shots, and then you got like trying to scrounge up enough points in transition. It's not gonna work. If there's somebody else with audacity, like insane audacity like he has. He's not been good. The Mavs desperately need to upgrade to that spot. They've tried to trade Tim. Tim didn't think he was going to be a Maverick at the start of the season. That's a spot that the Mavericks have just needed to. But he's also been good this season. He's had good moments. He had 41 in the win against the Pelicans, 36 in the win against Orlando. He's had 36 times. The Mavericks are 5-1 in those games. When Tim Hardaway Jr. scores at least 24 points, the Mavericks are 7-2. He's done good things this season. If a coach just looks at a 5-game sample size and says, man, you're not playing very good, I'm going to bench you, and I'm going to play this second-year guy that has not played that well this season, that has played decently well in some stretches, that would be chaos for a basketball team. Because then it's just going off the whims of the last 5 games, and everybody's on their toe, and then nobody's got a consistent role and all that. That's a lot. And maybe you think that's what basketball should be. Coaches got to juggle a little bit more than that. Man, I did not expect that I'd be sitting here defending Jason Kidd at this juncture.
I don't always tell you guys the truth.
I have to apologize that you felt that he should have played more.
You gotta ask them. I'm just a coach.
Did not think I would be at this point in my career. A year ago when he said this.
I'm not playing. I'm watching, just like you guys.
I did not think I'd be sitting here defending Jason Kidd's minutes and Jason Kidd's like minute distribution to you guys right now. But here we are. Coming up. All right. Oh, one more thing. Oh, I did the Isaac thing. I didn't even do it on purpose.
Peace out.
Didn't even do it on purpose. One more thing. Tim Hardaway Jr. Last 5 games have been awful, really bad. 9 points, 1.6 assists, 2.2 turnovers. Less assists than turnovers is bad for a Tim Hardaway Jr. type player. Shooting 33% from the field, 28% from 3, 50% from free throw line. He's been negative in 3 of the 5 games the Mavericks have played in his plus minus. The 14 games before that, so for all of you that have said, oh, Tim hasn't just been bad in the last 5 games. He's been bad for months. The 14 games before the trade, 20 points a game, 1.7 assists, 1.2 turnovers, so a higher assist turnover. That's all you want from him. 40% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Coming up, Dante Exum. Mavericks, are they only playing iso ball? How can they get better at that? Why do fans instantly doom and gloom after losing 1 game? That was a question that I kind of wanted to answer. And then confidence in playing games. We'll talk about all that and more coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Listen, you've got things in your life you've got to talk about. You've got this thing that's causing you anxiety. Maybe it's too much caffeine, but maybe it's something in your life, a trauma, something in your life that you've gone through. I know I have things. I'm going to therapy right now. I went today and I met online with my therapist, and it was awesome to be able to just talk out something. And honestly, I went in thinking I was going to talk about one thing, and like 30 minutes in, we were talking about something completely different. And that is totally okay. You can completely, you can talk about and let it all out and let someone know how you feel, and it helps to be able to process something, to verbally, just talk through something, and to have somebody that's in your corner, but also like unbiased in the same way. That's what a therapist is. Therapy can be different for everyone. Most of us have bigger problems than our favorite sports team playing Tim Hardaway Jr. too many minutes, and it's important to get these things off your chest every once in a while. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. I've used it. It's entirely online, designed to be flexible, suited to your schedule. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is, huh? Anybody?
All right, Isaac, let's get into the rest of your questions. You guys have big questions about the Mavericks post-trade. We're 5 games in. Mavericks have a couple of games coming up. We've got the Cavs at like a random 6 p.m. start time. I love those. I'm in on the 6 p.m. start times. I know that's tough for some people that have 9 to 5s, but 6 p.m. start time for the Cavs. Slightly now have the postgame for that. Then the Raptors game on Wednesday. We'll have the postgame for that as well. Me and Slightly will be on for that. Dana Larson back on Thursday night going into Friday. And then we'll have Mavs Celtics on Friday. Slightly and I will probably have I'll definitely be on the postgame. Not sure Slightly is, but we'll definitely have a show for you then. And yeah, that's the week. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about 3 games. Oh, let's go. Back to back for the Mavericks. All right, let's answer some more questions. How can we expect the offense to be better when they only play iso ball? Couple of things with that. There's a question we got on YouTube as well. The Mavericks run purely iso 10% of the time. Does that surprise you? It surprised me a little bit. Because iso is isolation specifically is different than Luka dribble, kick out. That's a kick out. That's a spot up shot. And they have a ton of spot ups. They get a ton of spot up shots. The problem is they're excellent at all these things. The problem with, the Mavericks do too much isolation. The problem is the Mavs' most efficient play is a Luka Doncic isolation play. The problem is, according to Synergy, they're excellent ranking at isolations. That's the highest ranking you can get. They're not better at anything else than they are at isolation plays. How can the Mavericks get better at offense? Actually, if they wanted to get... Here we go. You ready for this? I'm just going to lean back. If the Mavericks wanted to get better at offense, they would run more isolation plays. This is what this all has become. This is what offense in the NBA has become in 2024. Bunch of nerds like me looked at all the numbers and said, all right, these are the most efficient plays. Run these more. Look at these other plays, these post-ups, these handoffs, these other things, these mid-range shots, these long twos. Don't run those at all because that's not worth it. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your energy. It's not worth the shots. Run this stuff more. And so if you wanted to be better at offense, you would run isolation more for Luka Doncic. You would run it every single time. That's your most efficient play. It's not feasible. You can't do that. these are athletes with actual human bodies that work and need fiber and protein and all that stuff. Like, you can't just run them into the ground. And so you got to run other stuff, and you've got to keep the defense on their toes and all that. There's the return on investment, there's an ROI on it. But how can we expect the offense to be better when they only play iso ball? They should run more iso ball. Now, they're also excellent pick and roll ball handler, which you may think is also isolation. It's not, but it is. Technically, like, one guy handles the ball, somebody sets a screen for him, and then they run that stuff. They're excellent at both those things. Luka and Kyrie are amazing at it. So run that stuff. That's the stuff where you get good offense out of. Another question. Why do fans instantly doom and gloom after losing 1 game out of 8? Now, I know that I can't... when I ask this, just know I know that I can't hear any of you. I'm going to pretend that I can. Do you want the philosophical answer, or do you want the NBA, this is what basketball is now answer? This is what the season is now. Okay, here's the basketball answer. Because every game matters right now for the Mavericks. So many games matter for this season. The Mavericks started before this run, the 7-game win streak, in 7th in the West. They had a 7-game win streak, lost a game, and went back to 8th. It is cutthroat right now in the West. All these teams, the Mavericks are 7-3 in their last 10 games. You're like, all right, the Mavericks have been playing really well. They're 8th. The teams above them in the last 10 games, Pelicans, 7-3. 6-4 for the Suns, Kings, Clippers, Nuggets, Thunder. Nuggets, Thunder 8-2. That's even worse. And the Timberwolves 7-3. There's been no movement basically on those teams because everybody's been good. They've all been killing it. We've really differentiated the West. Like, everybody's kind of slotted into their tiers right now. And so why do fans doom and gloom? Because all these games matter and people care. And I love that. I love that. Like, hold on, wait. People care about regular season games? Yes, lots of people do all the time. And so that's why people doom and gloom after games like this, because they matter. You can always second guess what a coach does or what, a team does or what the decisions that are made. And that's what makes sports fun. That's why I have a job. It's because you can look at something and look at what happened in the game. Like, oh, they obviously should have done this. They should have played Hardy instead of Tim Hardaway Jr. Obviously. Should have played Omax. I've done that 3 times this season. If only they had played Omax. I love Omax. Omax, please get good. That's what I want in life. The philosophical answer, for those of you that answered that earlier when I asked the question, the philosophical answer is, where are you looking for this? Where are you looking for the comments? What sites are you on? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Reddit? Are you on Facebook? Are you on YouTube? All these places have just warped our minds into everything's got to be instant. Everything's got to be right now. We've got to have the answer right now. Who's the greatest of all time? Has Patrick Mahomes become the greatest of all time? He's not even done playing yet. He's not even halfway done playing yet. You've got to know the answer to it right now. Everything's got to be instant. Everything's got to be the best. We have Muse accounts. We have all these Stan accounts. We've got Celtics accounts calling out Luka Doncic. Everything matters every single time for clout, for, bragging rights, for my guy is better than your guy. Our team has figured it out. We're better than the Suns, better than this team. Your trash poverty franchises. That's all it's become. That's all social media has become now. It's just, you're right about your thing. And so when you're wrong about something, or when a team makes you look stupid, immediately you come in and you're like, this team, blah, 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 how could they do this to me? Make these terrible decisions and all this stuff.
I need a recovery beer.
That's what I feel like I need after looking at comments and stuff. So people care, and social media has become this completely everything's got to be right now. And if you're only looking on Twitter, a lot of good people have left Twitter. I'll say that. A lot of good people have left Twitter. I'm still on it, so I'm not saying, "Oh, I'm so much better than everybody else." No, I'm one of the idiots that's still on there for sure. But a lot of good people have left Twitter. I'll just say that. There you go. Those are your answers to some of your questions. Let me know in the comment section, who's the Mavs' 3rd leading scorer the rest of the season? I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about it. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me, and appreciate you guys. Again, Slightly and I will be back tomorrow with the post-game show. Dana Larson and I will be back later in the week. Guys, thanks for listening to Locked on Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.